There is a man you know. He doesn't argue. He doesn't explain himself. He doesn't chase anyone. When people disrespect him, they don't get anger. They don't get a response. They get nothing. And somehow that nothing is the most powerful thing in the room. Tonight, you are going to become that man. Not through affirmations, not through motivation, but through the cold surgical truth about how power actually works psychologically, biologically, historically. What you are about to hear will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is your old self dying. Good. Let it. The wound you never saw. You have been bleeding your entire life, and you never noticed the wound. Every time you reacted to someone who didn't deserve your reaction, you handed them a piece of your identity. Every time you explained yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you, you gave them control over your nervous system. Every time you chased a person, a validation, an apology that would never come, you told the universe that you were someone who chases, and the universe believed you. Your attention is not free. It is the most expensive currency you possess. The average man spends this currency like it's infinite. He hands it to strangers who provoke him. He gives it to coworkers who disrespect him. He wastes it on people who would not cross the street to save his life. Every single time he does, he loses a fraction of himself. The fraction is small, that's the deception. A penny disappears from your account each day, and you don't notice. But a year later, you are broke and you don't know why. You feel tired. You feel reactive. You feel like the world is constantly pushing you around. It is, because you allowed it. Tonight, that changes. Machiavelli's real lesson. Niccolò Machiavelli has been misquoted, misread, and misunderstood for 500 years. People call him evil. They use his name as an insult. Those people miss the point entirely. Machiavelli was not teaching cruelty. He was teaching reality. He sat in the shadows of Renaissance Florence and watched empires rise and collapse. He studied princes, popes, mercenaries, and merchants. He dissected political power the way a surgeon dissects the human body, not with emotion, but with precision. And in all his observations, one pattern repeated without exception. The prince who chases loses. The prince who withdraws conquers. The moment you pursue someone who has wronged you through argument, through anger, through desperate explanation, you signal that they have something you need. You elevate them. You make yourself smaller. But the moment you withdraw completely, silently, strategically, you shift the entire dynamic. Now they are wondering. Now they are questioning. Now they are orbiting around your absence. Machiavelli described two animals every powerful man must embody. The fox, cunning enough to recognize which traps are laid specifically for you. Most provocations are traps. The insult designed to make you explode. The argument designed to make you look defensive. The fox sees them from a distance and walks another path. The lion, strong enough to know which battles are beneath him. The lion does not chase mice, not because he cannot catch them, but because to do so would be to forget what he is. Most men today are neither fox nor lion. They are dogs barking at everything that moves, chasing every car that passes, exhausting themselves for nothing, mistaking noise for strength. Power is not loud. Power does not explain itself. Power does not justify itself. Power simply exists and the world adjusts around it. The neuroscience of being ignored. Now I want to show you something most motivational content never touches. The actual science of what happens inside the brain of someone you ignore. In 2003, UCLA neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger conducted a landmark study. She placed participants in an fMRI scanner and had them play a simple virtual ball-tossing game. At a certain point, the other players, controlled by a program, simply stopped throwing the ball to the participant. They were excluded, ignored, treated as if they didn't exist. The result? The same brain regions that activate for physical pain lit up during social exclusion. The dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the anterior insula, the regions associated with a broken bone or a fresh wound. Being ignored hurts literally, neurologically, in the body. Now understand what this means for you. When you withdraw your attention from someone who expected it, you are not doing nothing. You are activating one of the most powerful psychological levers in human experience. The person you ignore will replay every interaction, searching for what went wrong. They will wake at 3 a.m. with their thoughts already racing. They will draft messages, delete them, draft them again. They will modify their behavior, hoping to earn back what you withdrew. All of this happens while you do absolutely nothing. But I want to be precise here, because precision is what separates wisdom from cruelty. Used on people who have manipulated you, wronged you, or drained you repeatedly, this is self-preservation. Used as a weapon against genuinely innocent people, it is abuse, and it will hollow you out. The distinction matters. Know which one you are doing. The greatest punishment is not revenge. The greatest punishment is irrelevance, and you deliver it simply by treating someone as though they no longer exist in your world. The architecture of strategic withdrawal there is a critical difference between being absent and being strategically withdrawn. Absence is weakness, you disappear because you don't know what else to do. Strategic withdrawal is architecture, you design your presence with intention, with purpose, with full understanding of what each choice communicates. The first element is selective accessibility. The man who answers every call has no value. He is always available, which means he is always common. And what is common is never treasured. The man who is selectively accessible creates a different equation. When he responds, people notice. When he gives his time, people understand they have received something rare. The second element is emotional non-reaction. This is the hardest. Your nervous system was designed by evolution to respond to social threats, and insult triggers the same fight-or-flight cascade as a physical threat. Your cortisol rises, your heart rate increases, your jaw tightens. This is biology, not weakness. But here is where discipline separates kings from commoners. The feeling is automatic, the response is a choice. The Stoics called the space between stimulus and response the most sacred territory in human experience. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they all pointed to the same truth. Feel the insult, feel the anger rise, and then watch it the way you watch a storm through a window, present, observing, unmoved. This is what they called apatheia, not apathy, but trained immunity to emotional hijacking. A skill forged through repetition, not discovered in a single moment of inspiration. The third element is deliberate mystery. When you stop over-explaining and oversharing, something interesting happens, you become interesting. The person who tells you everything they think the moment they think it is exhausting, readable, predictable, controllable. The person who speaks with economy is magnetic. People lean in, people wonder. Practice speaking less than you know. The mystery you create is more powerful than any argument you could win. The three categories: not everyone in your life deserves your attention. You need to be ruthlessly clear about who gets what. The first category is active enemies, people who work against you consciously and deliberately. They smile to your face and undermine you elsewhere. Machiavelli was clear. A prince must know his enemies, but he must never give them the satisfaction of open acknowledgement. When you respond to an enemy, you tell the world they matter enough to disturb your peace. When you withdraw entirely, no reaction, no drama, you strip them of their power. They become shadows boxing against air. The second category is critics without credibility, people who have never built what you are building, never risked what you have risked, never bled for anything, yet feel entitled to judge your choices. They exist in comment sections, in extended family gatherings, in office break rooms. They create nothing. They experience nothing. They simply watch and narrate. Here is the truth about critics. Their volume is proportional to their irrelevance. The loudest critics are almost always the least accomplished. Responding to a critic is the fastest way to shrink yourself to their level. Let them talk. Your actions carve stone. Their words dissolve into air. The third category is emotional parasites, the most insidious, because they disguise themselves as people who care about you. They arrive with their problems and dramas, always when you have something important to do. Your energy flows out to them and never returns. You do not owe anyone unlimited access to your energy, not friends, not family. Your attention belongs first to your purpose. Anyone who consistently depletes it without return gets removed, not with drama, not with explanation, simply removed. The danger of needing to be liked here is the trap that destroys more men than failure ever does. The need to be liked, it seems harmless. Wanting to be liked is human, normal, social. But here is what no one tells you: it is the single most exploitable vulnerability in the human psyche. When people understand that your mood depends on their opinion of you, they have a lever. They can pull it whenever they want. A compliment and you expand, an insult and you collapse. You have handed the controls of your inner life to people who have no idea how to fly. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." People misread this as a prescription for tyranny. It is not. It is a warning about dependency. The prince who needs to be loved must constantly perform. He makes decisions based on popularity rather than effectiveness. He is enslaved to the audience. Think about the people in your life who seem most genuinely powerful, not loudest, not most aggressive, most powerful. Do they seem worried about what you think of them? They do not. And somehow that immunity to your judgment makes them more magnetic, not less. This is not a paradox. It is psychology. We are drawn to people who don't need us. We respect people who don't seek our validation. We trust people who act from internal certainty rather than external performance. The man who does not need your approval cannot be controlled by you. And that, to most people, is both threatening and deeply attractive. Social chess: every human interaction is a chess match. The difference between the master and the amateur is not intelligence. It is awareness that the game is being played at all. Most people move impulsively. They react emotionally. They defend when attacked, pursue when someone retreats, explain when accused. They are playing chess like it's a street fight, all instinct, no strategy. The master understands something different. The most powerful move is often no move at all. When you go still, when you refuse to react, refuse to pursue, refuse to explain, you force the other player to move. And the player who moves from emotion, from desperation, from the need to fill your silence, reveals everything. In relationships, the person who cares less holds the frame. When you stop chasing, when you stop needing, when you become genuinely occupied with your own purpose, you become the sun that others orbit, rather than the planet begging for warmth. In negotiations, the negotiator who appears fully unaffected wins. Desperation is visible, the slight forward lean, the too quick response, the willingness to fill every silence. These are tells. The man who is truly content to walk away always negotiates from strength. In social hierarchies, the person who doesn't compete for status rises above the competition. People notice what they cannot explain, and they respect what they cannot reach. You win not by capturing every piece, but by controlling the board with minimum effort. You win by being unreadable, unpredictable, ungovernable. The actual practice: everything you've heard tonight is philosophy until you act on it. So here is the actual practice. Week 1, the pause protocol. Every time you feel the impulse to react, to text back immediately, to defend yourself, to engage with a provocation, insert a pause. 5 seconds minimum, 30 seconds ideal. In that pause, ask one question: does responding serve my actual interests, or does it just relieve my emotional discomfort? Most reactions are about emotional relief, not strategy. Learn to tolerate the pressure. That tolerance is the beginning of power. Week 2, the access audit. Write down the 10 people who receive most of your time and energy. Beside each name, write what they actually contribute to your life practically, emotionally, intellectually. Some names will have long lists. These people earn their access. Some names will have almost nothing. Begin gradually, without drama, reducing their access to your inner world. Week 3, the silence practice. In conversations, begin allowing pauses to exist. Resist the urge to fill every silence with words. Speak less. Observe more. Notice how people rush to fill the silence. Notice what they reveal when they do. Notice how your words carry more weight when there are fewer of them. And understand this is a long game. You will slip. You will react when you meant to be still. Every slip is data. Note it. Learn from it. Return to the practice. The man who fails and returns is more powerful than the man who never fails, because he knows exactly where his edges are and has chosen to expand them. The sovereign, you have learned tonight what most men spend a lifetime never grasping. That silence is not absence, it is presence at a higher frequency. That withdrawal is not weakness, it is the concentrated gathering of force. That indifference to unworthy opinions is not coldness, it is sovereignty. You are not becoming heartless. You are becoming selective. You are not shutting everyone out. You are curating your kingdom. The version of you that emerges from this practice does not react, he responds, and only when it serves something real. He does not explain, he lets his results write the explanation. He does not chase, he builds something so undeniable that the right people are drawn to him naturally. Build your inner empire first. The outside world will reorganize around it. From this day you speak less and observe more. You engage only with what serves your mission. You let the noise of the unworthy fade into irrelevance while you focus entirely on what actually matters: your goals, your growth, your sovereign mind. The people who once had access to your reactions will test you. They will provoke you. They will escalate, because what they cannot control they will try to destroy. But you will not be moved. You will look at them with eyes that have seen through the game. And you will give them nothing, not your anger, not your frustration, not even your acknowledgement. They will become shadows. And shadows cannot touch a man who has stepped into his own light. This is the sovereign mind. This is what it means to be untouchable. Your reign begins now.